obviously. But what you could do is, there's a lot of all of these, I don't know, IG influencers, all of these influencers conducting IG live, exercising together with their fans. Or you can just simply go to YouTube. There's a lot of free workout videos. So yeah, you have to try to adopt. You have to prioritize things that matter the most to you, and then try to adopt that thing, the thing that matters to you, to the current situation. And then secondly, you should not be too judgmental. You should not be too what I'm trying to say is, you should not try to be perfectionist. So this is particularly hard for those people with type A personality, because they used to, perform all the time. But you also have to understand, in order for you to be resilient, you have to be able to adopt with the new situation. So when you're facing with working from home, you're not used to, a lot of noises at home. So what you could do is, you should not target to perform 100%. So at least at the early stage, you have to, I don't know, like maybe try to set a target of 60%. So what I'm trying to say, you should not put a lot of pressure on yourself to perform, especially, with the new environment. And also because you're not going to work, right? You are missing all of these cues that telling you to go to work. Okay, those cues are, for example, driving to work, taking leave to go to your office. So you are missing all of these cues. You need more time to actually get used to the new normal. But what you could do is, first of all, yes, you should not target to be 100% efficient, but there are ways on how to do that. So first of all, you have to make a list. What are the things that you want to do the next day, right? And but do not put a lot of difficult tasks, especially early in the morning. So maybe in the morning you have to maybe start with something more administrative, rather than things that require a lot of mental works. So yeah, there are two things here basically. First of all, with working from home, you should focus on the things that you could have control with. And the second point is, you should not be too harsh on yourself. You should not target to achieve 100% of efficiency like you used to in the office. All right, that's all for working from home.
All right, Nabila, can we start with the question? There's a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you see the screen?
No, I cannot.
Guys, you can answer. You can question Dr. Nabila regarding working from home.
Nazra, I still cannot see the screen.
This is a new question. You see that?
No, I'm sorry. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I cannot see any question.
From Dr. Shamsus Barida Ramli. Most bad stories about. I think Dr. Anita already answered that question. Right. If this restricted movement period, social distancing were to be our new normal, how we prepare ourselves in the long run?
In the long run, you mean when it comes to within the context of working from home?
Yep.
All right. Okay. I think for, let's say, for example, I'm as a lecturer, right? So instead of focusing on, because right now we are being forced to basically have a virtual classroom. So instead of focusing on, oh, which platforms would be the best for me for my teaching, you have to focus on what on the things that's most important. So we have to prioritize on getting engaged with the students instead of, yes, I mean, it is absolutely important to pick the best platform, yeah, but you also should not be too stressed out because we are still trying to adapt with the current situation. So instead of putting so much energy on choosing which platform to, you know, that would serve the best virtual classroom ever, you should focus on, okay, the most important thing here is I get to teach my students, I get to, you know, I can engage my students with my class. Okay.
How to stay focused when working from home?
Okay, how to stay focused. So there are a couple of tips. Like just now I said, right? You have to focus on the things that most important to you. All right, it's the same goes to the work task. You have to prioritize what task that is that need you to attend to it urgently. So you have to make a list. But also at the same time, when you make a list, right? Okay, you will definitely be thinking, oh, okay, this would be the next step. So you should not make all of these steps too refined, too specific. You just really need to get into it. But first of all, you need to make a list because you need to see clearly which tasks that you have to really attend to.
Hello, I'm too comfortable with this peace and quiet. Any tips on how to prepare from now? I think you can answer that question. Is about you?
Wait a minute, where is it? Oh, actually, there's one question here at group chat. Can I just ask here? I'm a uni student and need to do studying from home, but I find it so difficult to actually sit down and study regularly for my subjects. And I end up studying last minute for my tests and quizzes. It's like I can't bring myself to do anything during quarantine. All right, okay, so this is pretty normal. So back to the second point just now, you should not be too harsh on yourself because when the brain, our mind is actually an incredible processing system. So during these uncertain times, it will do what it does best. It will think, with all of the information, it will get us thinking, process all of this information, and also we will start to imagine, okay, what are the possible situations that could happen if A happen, if B happen. So when you have such a busy mind, you actually tend to procrastinate. So basically, people said, actually, there's in psychology, they said in procrastination actually rooted in because of your anxiety. You're too anxious, you have such a busy mind, a lot of things in your brain, so you cannot really focus on what's most important to be executed. So in this case, the most important thing here is you need to study for your quizzes and tests, right? But because you keep on, like, you have such a busy mind, you kept on thinking, maybe you are anxious about something, I'm not really sure. So my tips is, instead of just let all of these negative thoughts linger, you note it down. Note it down, and then in psychology it's called journaling. So it's really good when you know what frustrates you. From there you can be objective about it, so you can take a next step. Oh, okay, how to fix these negative emotions. So from there, eventually it will ease you up into your previous routine, which is studying for your tests. I hope that helps.
There's a question there,
I
the
cannot
blue
see the
highlighted.
question. I think you have to share the screen.
I already wait.
Oh, really? I cannot see it.
Can you see that?
Yeah, okay. My experience is to have a WhatsApp group for my class. I have my assignments posted, announcements made. Yeah, that's really true. Um, yeah, we lecturers are right now pretty active in the WhatsApp group. Giving assignments, made announcements through WhatsApp. Previously, I would avoid WhatsApp with my students, but nowadays you really cannot get away from it. um hello, I'm too comfortable with this peace and quiet. Any tips on how to prepare from now to re-assimilate into society or work or the hustle and bustle of life? All right, okay, so it is really good that you are getting comfortable with this peace and quiet, because I don't know, some people just might need it more than anyone else. Probably you're in, previously you have been so, caught up with all of your works. I'm not really sure if you're students or working adults, but yeah, how to re-assimilate. So, humans, you actually, we are social beings. Like what Dr. Anita said, we are social beings. We like to be connected with other human beings. So I'm pretty sure you will have an easy time to actually re-assimilate back into the society and work. All right, any more question?
This one.
Huh. I can't seem to feel much more emotions anymore. I can rarely get excited for something I loved to do and can't fully enjoy myself when I'm with friends. All right, okay. So first of all, I would like to ask you, what do you mean when I'm with friends? You mean virtually?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So all right, I think it because the reason why you no longer enjoy being with friends at this moment, this is one of the reasons, yeah, because I don't like to really have a video call, uh, or just like, chit chatting in WhatsApp group. Uh, like some people just don't like it, but in reality, they actually like to get connected with people. It's just that, you don't like the medium that you are currently using. Um, and about you don't feel that much emotions anymore. I'm not really clear about this, and you can't rarely get excited for something you loved to do. So, well, I think this is the question for Dr. Anita.
Yeah, we will get back that. This is working from home
Yes.
question. This is last question.
Okay. All right, working from home is very stressful. It's been endless meetings because bosses are worried staff will start lacking. How to balance personal life and work life. All right, okay. So actually, last time while we were talking together with other panels, we talked about this about panic working. So because right now, right, all of us are working from home. We no longer have to, spend our time on the road. No longer have to, I don't know, spend time to get ready. Basically, you can just like, get up from bed and, attend your first morning meeting without having to shower. Well, some people really do that. Um, so basically, with these situations, we called it panic working. Okay, panic working. The reason why people are panic working is because everything is uncertain right now, right? So we also in some situations people are facing the possibility of losing job of losing their job. So how to cope with this is by overwork, is by doing a lot of work, is by showing that okay, I'm so useful in this organization, I can do a lot of things in these organizations. So panic working means that you are too efficient, you take back-to-back meetings, and it is not good because eventually if you don't if you keep it going for a longer period, you you'll get burnout, and we don't want that. um so how to balance personal life and work life? So what you need to do right now is, like I said, in order for you to be efficient, to with the new normal, with working from home, you have to make a list, right? So when you make a list on your daily task for the next day, you also have to slot in time for your workout, to cook, to play. If you have kids, to play with your kids, you cannot just ignore them. um yeah, you should not just take meetings back to back, you should also slot time. I have these apps, it's called 7 minutes workout. So, maybe you could do that after a long meeting, take a walk around your apartment. If you have a garden, that even nicer. You have to slot in more physical activities. That is really important because, um, a lot of people, when we, in this current situation, we are being isolated, right? So it's easy for us to get all of these negative thoughts. So exercise really help you to, really helps to, what is it called, to increase all of these mood boosters hormones. So yeah, how to balance personal life and work life? You have the control. Basically, you can control your own schedule because you're at home. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about balancing personal life and work life at home.
All right, thank you, Nabila. All right, I think I'm gonna share my slide. This is my part. Uh, I'm gonna share about stress. Uh, how to manage your stress during quarantine COVID-19 outbreak. A little bit to touch about work-life balance. For me, currently, work-life balance sets an unrealistic expectation of keeping different roles in steady equilibrium. Instead of we are strived for work-life balance currently, I think we have to change a little bit the words to work-life rhythm. I think maybe Dr. Nabila can elaborate that because each week, currently the situation repeating a pattern of peace and family, coping with the family, health, hobby, and the boss is 24/7. The work-life balance is doesn't seems to really nice. We call that nice topic. Maybe we can change currently. The new normal is a work-life rhythm. So I just touched a little bit on that. All right. As you know that stress is currently last Monday I have done research uh, with poll in the Slido. Almost 80% participant out of 200, when we ask them how's your feeling during quarantine COVID-19 outbreak, they actually stress. And I think you might heard about Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a professor in Stanford University, was a professor, and he's a researcher. He done a research about epidemiology, which is he telling people that most stress actually uh, can uh, can make people something bigger than about their life. Maybe will come with the effect about their disease, cancer, and so on. And he told that 90% of disease is actually on the stress related. And stress during COVID-19, I think everyone can, I can share the slide. I will email this. Actually, it's normal currently that uh, people feel sad and distressed and worry and confused and scared or angry during this crisis. Just to inform everyone, uh, I have this is my third crisis I handle in Malaysia. The first crisis I handled was 2013 when I was finished my I think my masters in psychology. I handled with the MH370. And the second one was MH70, and now is this is new for me because it's pandemic. It's not related to my more but my knowledge, but a crisis. Most of I can conclude that people, it's normal that feel distress and worry during crisis. We have to acknowledge the situation first, and we have to know that this is new normal. And you can find a way to manage your stress by feel taking time to relax, talk to people you trust, and talking to your friends and family. I tweet last night about, do you call your friends? Uh, I mean, some of us might be forget to call their friends to checking them. Maybe our friends stay alone. They are quarantined, stranded in hostel in the house. They cannot go back home in the family. Just a simple call and talk to them really mean a lot to everyone. So the feeling of sign of stress, uh, you can see there might be worry, angry, irritable, depressed, and unable to focus. Yesterday was in the main news. Uh, we discussed about the violence uh, in the house, which is in the marriage. Of course, from the research that we have done, uh, a common stress is having argument, getting lost, and common causes of long term stress during crisis COVID-19 is financial and uncertain situation, marriage, family problem, and of course, the quarantine at home itself are so stressed. I was uh, my routine was every week I travel here and there for my research or maybe for my trainings and everything. Now I stranded, I quarantine in the house. It's in my new normal for me to digest. I remember the quote from Darwin. Even I'm not really argue his theory. He say the one who can survive in the next generation is not the strongest, it's not the intelligent are you, but the one who can adapt of the changes. So that is the person who will survive in the next generation, in the next new normal. So we have to adapt a new normal, a new situation, and that's nothing you can do much currently. And of course, you have to plan your time, think ahead about how you are going to use your time, write to do list, figure out. I always tell my patient, please write something. You don't have to worry about your grammar, your anything. You just write, just with the flow, just write from your heart something you figure out your mind. What writing is really, really good for you. And I think Dr. Sue will touch on that, and it will make you feel different. And also you prepare yourself, draw on skill you have used in the past that have helped you to manage your previous life adversities, and use those skills to help you to manage your emotion during the challenging time on outbreak. And of course, Dr. Sue will touch on relax and with a deep breathing or meditation after this. And I always tell people that, and please control your food intakes. When you eat unhealthy food, it will affect. We are talking about immune system and everything right now. I mean, of course, uh, food is really big role protecting your immune system. If you eat and you drink too much alcohol or eat so many junk food, maybe it will affect your immune system, and we never know. Maybe those patients who are positive in COVID-19 and released from hospital being negative, maybe they are good eating their immune system because of the food, or that there's no research done on that. But we please before the vaccine have done to publish in the public, please and please control your food. And last but not least, this is something that I always tell people: don't waste your so much time on news, something not rumors, and maybe some. Just focus on currently the mainstream news that because we are in the crisis and pandemic, there is no entertainment news that actually really helpful for you to coping your stress. And Netflix limits your Netflix time. For example, like you don't have to all the time watching Netflix. Use this time for you to develop a reflection your life and your time. Build a new skill, learn something new uh, that added value you. And of course, last but not least, you have to do activities like work out from home. Uh, this is something good for you. Then can release your stress level. And that's it. My my presentation. And of course, you can log on to our website youngminds.org for further discussion. I will pass to Dr. Su. Hello, Dr. Su.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to go back to the page. Oh, okay. Hi. Just one moment. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nasru, for giving me this opportunity. A little bit about myself. I'm Dr. Sujata. I'm working with the Ministry of Health for the past 22 years. But for the past 4 years, I was very fortunate to be posted at the psychiatric unit, where especially attached with the child and adolescent unit, working with my bosses, Dr. Ramli, Dr. Amina, and of course Dr. Anita. Great. I have this opportunity to learn a lot of things from them. Thank you. And here, what I would like to share is I recently found a passion to do creative drama intervention, as well as I'm being trained in clinical hypnosis. So, but today, don't worry, I'm not going to hypnotize any one of y'all. I'm just going to relax all of y'all. I'm just going to just touch a little bit upon on conscious mind and subconscious mind before I take you all into relaxation. Conscious mind is something where your mind is just about 10% of it, and 90% is our subconscious mind, where all of us actually just work on the 10%. Your conscious mind is actually where, it is the critical thinking, where you analyze everything. That is what your conscious mind does. You're not good enough, you can't do this, I'm going to fail, that kind of thing. Whereas your subconscious mind is something like a storehouse, where everything is stored there, like your behavior, your attitude, and that kind of thing. So just to get that off, I want you now to find a place where you can lie down or relax. Because if you sit on a chair, if you're too relaxed, when your neck drops, you might hurt your neck. So what I would suggest is, if all of you all could just lie down comfortably with your hand headphones or hands free. So I hope you're comfortable right now, because I'm going to start shortly. Okay. I would want you to make yourself comfortable. Place your feet flat if you're sitting down, or if you're lying down, please do not cross your legs, and let your hands comfortably on your lap or at your side. And when you're ready, just close your eyes. Allow them to close, and you can relax your eyes now. Just feel your eyelids are becoming heavier and heavier, and just allow them to close. You can relax your eyes now. Make them so comfortably relaxed that they won't bother to open at all. They will remain comfortably closed, throughout. Take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And I want you to know that you can be aware of all the sounds around you, like the sound of your fan, or the buzzing of the air conditioning, or the sounds outside your room, someone talking, or the honking of a car. And I want you to know that these sounds are unimportant, and you can just disregard them in your own way. You may even find that in a strange and contradictory way, these sounds help to take you ever more deeply relaxed, deeper and deeper relaxed. With your eyes comfortably closed, I want you to think of something pleasant, maybe a peaceful, tranquil scene, or a favorite place. And I want you to let all the muscles of your body go quite limp and slack. Take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale. First, the muscles of your feet and ankles, let them relax. Let them go limp and slack. Now, the muscles of your calves, let them go limp and slack. Allow them to relax. Now, the muscles of your thighs, let them relax. Let them go limp and slack. And already you can feel a heaviness in your legs. Your legs are beginning to feel as heavy as lead. Let your legs go as heavy as lead. Let them relax completely. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. And as you do so, you are becoming drowsier and drowsier. You feel completely at peace, your mind calm and contented. You are really enjoying this very pleasant, drowsy feeling. And now that feeling of relaxation is spreading upwards over your whole body. Let your stomach muscles relax. Let them go limp and slack. Now, the muscles of your chest, your body, and your back. Let them go limp and slack. Allow them to relax, and you can feel a heaviness in your body as though your body is feeling just as heavy as lead, as if it is wanting to sink down deeper and deeper into the chair or the bed you're lying down. Just let your body go heavy as lead. Let it sink comfortably into where you are sitting or lying down. And as it does so, you are becoming drowsier and drowsier. Inhale, exhale. Just let yourself relax more and more completely. You are feeling warm and comfortable, completely at peace. And that pleasant feeling of relaxation is now spreading to your neck, your shoulders, and your arms. Let your neck muscles relax. Let them go limp and slack. Now, the muscles of your shoulders. Let them go limp and slack. Allow them to relax. Now, find the muscles of your arms. Let them relax. Let them go limp and slack. And you can feel a heaviness in your arms, as if your arms are becoming just as heavy as lead. Just let your arms go heavy as lead. Let them relax completely. want you to memorize this feeling so you can recreate this relaxed state whenever you wish. Take a moment to sit quietly as you reawaken completely. Notice that you still feel calm and relaxed, though you are awake and alert. I want you to know that you can return to this peaceful or favorite place of your visualization in your imagination whenever you like. Take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale, and as you sit there or lie down, all the way deep down and comfortable in the chair or bed you're lying down, breathing freely and easily, you will find that the sound of my voice will help you to relax ever more deeply, deeper and deeper as we go on. And now I am going to wake you in a few seconds' time. You will hear me count from 1 to 10. You will slowly awaken with each number. And at the count of 8, you will open your eyes. And then by the count of 10, you'll be fully wide awake. You will wake up feeling fine, with a feeling of well-being all over, a feeling of well-being. Every part of you will be back here with me in the present or wherever in the room you are. And all normal, healthy sensations will return to your limbs. And you will be fully wide awake at the count of 10. You will feel fine, refreshed, feeling so much better and much more optimistic than you have felt in a long, long time. So, as I count from 1 to 10, you become more and more awake with each number. So, ready? 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, waking up. 7, 8, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake. Is everybody okay? Just move your fingers, move your hands, wriggle your toes. Just make, if you need time more for yourself, just take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Slowly wake up. Hi, Nazrul. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I just wake up.
I'm glad to know that.
It's not cheap to call hypnosis therapy in the US because we have question from the US from in the YouTube. I
Oh,
Yep. Uh, my internet access is quite limited as I am living in the state. I get very stressed out. My parents try everything that could to help me, but I still get left behind with my study. What can I do now? How is that, doctor?
it, um, okay. There's something that recently that I have been able to get into something called energy healer. They actually teach you something called the thymus thumb. Okay, the thymus thumb is the thymus gland is something where actually by the age when we reach 16 years old, apparently it closes up. Okay, when it actually helps you to be calm, less anxious, and you actually can yeah, it basically calms you down. So what you do is you take a deep breath. Okay, inhale, hold your breath, make your hand into a fist, and just come slightly onto your thymus region. It is just slightly above your sternum bone. Yeah. So you just tap 3 times and then you put your hand down. And when you exhale, you go into phase like that way. You don't just breathe out one shot. So apparently, when you keep doing that, your thymus gland opens up and even your immune system gets better with that. So it helps actually with your immune system as well. For further, if you want to watch a YouTube video, you can actually watch Deborah King. She's with Mind Valley as an energy healer, where she actually teaches you the thymus thumb. So you can access her video for further info. Yeah,
All right.
that's
Question from the group chat. I think from Sabrina Abdulova. She said, "Can I ask you? I'm a university student and I needed to study from home. But I find it difficult to actually sit down and study regularly for my subject, and I end up studying last minute." I think this is question for Nabila. I think Nabila, you can ask. But I have a question from the Slido that for you. Uh,
I can't see the screen, Nazrul.
yeah, share screen first.
Uh-oh. I can't see that. Oops.
20. This is about panic attack, doctor.
Okay.
How to know if you are having panic attack?
Can I can I refer to Dr. Anita? Anita, would you like to answer that?
Okay, don't panic, Sujata. I'm here.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you.
Okay, panic attacks are attacks. So they are short, but to the person experiencing it, it's like a lifetime. It's very distressing. Sometimes it, can be between 10 minutes to half an hour. Basically, there's a increase or an escalation of fear. But see, all of us have experienced fear from time to time, but this is paralyzing fear. And what happens is that people who have experienced panic attack will always tell you that they feel breathless, they can't breathe, they feel suffocated, They feel like their heart is beating really fast or fluttering like a bird in their chest. They have a lot of sweating um, on their hands and legs sometimes, and then they feel faintish. And sometimes some of them actually do, faint. And they also have a sense of impending doom. They feel like something is going to end. It's really bad. Panic attacks can be, very mild, meaning that I'm sure all of us have had panic attacks, say before exams or before going in for that Viva, or some of us maybe when we're taking our marriage vows. So there might be that sense of panic that we've experienced. But people who have say panic disorder, so disorder means there is a disruption of their social and occupational functioning. What that means is whatever their symptoms are in terms of the panic attacks, it is severe enough that it is beginning to affect the way they socialize or the way that they can actually work, or maybe they can't work at all. And so that's when you would need to see a mental health professional, and you need to be assessed properly. And if it is not related to other things, for example, I won't go into it too detail, but some health conditions can have similar symptoms to panic attacks, um, like hypothyroidism and things like that. So you need a doctor or a psychologist to assess you and make sure that it is a mental health issue. It's not related to anything else. Interestingly, a few years ago, I actually had a patient, and he was he used to be a person who used to be a couch potato. And then he decided to make a change in his life. Unfortunately, he had some bad advice from some gym mates, and he took some supplements that helped him to lose weight. And one of the supplements actually started to induce the symptoms. And so, you need a mental health professional or a doctor to be able to assess you properly and to ensure that it is just not related to all these other things, because we might not realize it. Yeah, so that would be panic attack symptoms. Nazrul, do you want
And
to
yeah,
answer
I
the
I
other
think
question?
Dr. Su can add a little bit about that. Panic attack. Do you have anything to add more, Dr. Su? All right, we go to next question, Dr. Anita. I think you can answer that. How to comfort someone that recently lose their family member due to COVID-19 or any illness? Is it possible to be there for them physically?
I think this quarantine has really made us as a human race to really think of ways that we can actually reach out beyond the physical means. And, like what Dr. Sue did for us just now is tapping into our, you know, inner awareness about ourselves and our ability to control ourselves, and let our, just now what she did was a muscle relaxation. So she did it online. If you all realize that
Yeah.
normally we would have these sessions in person. Of course, I'm not saying that online is better than in person, but there is still an impact, and an important one. So you may not need to be physically present. I'm sure all of us have had this from time to time. Sometimes we're physically present, but we are emotionally or spiritually somewhere else. This happens a lot in boring meetings. So, going back to the important question about comforting someone, I think the most important thing is to let that person know that you're there. Even in terms of being there online or on the WhatsApp or whatever means that you're using, and let them feel your presence. And you could always let them know that that you understand how they feel. For example, you can always say something to the effect of, "This must be very difficult for you. It is very unusual situation and it's not easy and must be very distressing." So just acknowledging whatever it is that they're going through at that time. And I think we need to also be very mindful to be respectful. A lot of people might grieve in different ways, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to grieve, uh, even more so in this time. And if they feel that they would like some time alone, don't feel like you haven't done enough. All you need to know is to let them know in your own way, whichever way that is, that you're there should they need you, to have a chat. But if not, like what I do sometimes is I would just say that I'm thinking of you during this difficult time, and I personally believe in God. So I just say something that I keep you in my prayers, or keep your family in prayers. And usually that works really well. And I can't say that this often enough, how much we underestimate that the value of just letting people know how you are thinking of them. And I think that's really important. Nazrul, should I answer the question earlier about someone asked, they can't feel much emotions and they can't feel very excited.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Okay. See, I think I get concerned when I have questions like this. And even more so, it's complicated during this particular quarantine because, like Dr. Nabila said earlier, and you said it to Nazrul, Dr. Nazrul, that it is a new normal. I think a lot of us are going to feel sort of numb or strange, out of sorts. We may not feel very excited because, let's face it, sitting at home for many of us isn't very exciting to say the least. So one thing is to acknowledge that feeling, and if you need someone to make you feel validated, talk to someone, reach out to someone and say, "Hey, I'm feeling this way." And then I think sometimes for some of us it helps when someone says, "It's hard for you, it's I'm going through the same." So normalizing the feeling can be very important. Learn to be aware that this is how you're feeling. Why I'm asking you to be aware is that there is a very important distinction between feeling emotionless or numb for short periods versus this feeling lingering for the whole day, and it starts to affect everything else that you were meant to do on that day, even though you're supposed to be at home. So if you're able to get yourself to just close your eyes, just be aware, let that feeling come through you, don't judge yourself, be very kind, don't be harsh, and don't resist that feeling. I think the more we try to sort of resist and try to make our feelings what it's not, or I think another problem I find is that a lot of people on Instagram, they're really happy, they're jumping around, they're TikToking, they're baking, and some of us might just struggle to get through the hour, you know uh,
Right.
and that's fine. I think what Dr. Nazrul said earlier really made sense. If this is your trigger that's making you feel lesser about yourself, I think limit your exposure to the social media pages or whatever that is triggering these negative emotions. Use what Dr. Nabila said, journal. I call it my brain dump. Like sometimes when I've got too many things going on in there, I just dump it on paper and I feel like I've sorted it out. I'll come back to it later if I don't feel good enough to deal with it in the present moment, whatever works. And I think I love Dr. Sujata's session, and the part where she said that you can always come back to that place, the place that gives you that sense of calmness. And if you have, I'm sure every one of us has some place in our mind, maybe from our childhood or somewhere, sometime that we were really happy. And if we can just hold on to that in our imagination and come back to it. Now, I think we should get worried if we're unable to do all of this, meaning that we are even struggling. And I want you to know that help is there. all hospitals are functioning 24/7. We've got psychiatric services in all the major hospitals. All clinic kesehatans can still refer. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. There are a lot of helplines if you need to speak to someone to, just to verify if you should go and seek for more professional help.
Dr. Anita, this less than 100 specialist psychiatric in Malaysia.
Oh
How?
no, Nazrul, the
Yeah.
numbers come up. I think it's above 300 now. And I think it's almost 400. There have been good recruitment of young doctors who wanted to join psychiatry. Um, and I think we don't have to just rely on psychiatrists. There are fantastic people in the mental health field, such as yourselves, psychologists. I know that there are not many, but the thing is, even though there isn't many, you need to reach out. And when you reach out, you would find yourself coming to the help that you need. If you can't get the help that you need, get someone, a friend, to help you to reach out. The important thing is not to feel like there's no way out.
Yeah, that's true.
And that I worry
I
most about people is that, yeah, go ahead.
no, you finish that.
Okay, so I think people try to reach out sometimes, and then they are not able to get in touch with the right people, or the befrienders line is busy, and then they feel hopeless. I think that's what I worry most about. I would like to stress that if you can't do it yourself, get a friend or a family member to help you. Yeah.
We are in the mental health professional always make a joke during this quarantine time that it's normal during the quarantine you talk to tree and walls. That what scares us that when the tree and walls speak to you back, right? So so there is something
I
uh,
think if
new
you're
normal.
aware, I think if you're very much aware that they are speaking back to you,
Yeah,
you can be quite assured in most cases that it's normal and it's healthy. It's just like a young child who is lonely. A lot of young children in single children families, a lot of parents come to me and say, my daughter, she's talking to herself, and she's got this whole imaginary world, or my son, talks to himself in the room. Now, the key here is if you're aware about it or not. Most often, the one that a lot of people are, afraid of, or they feel that it's more serious, is usually those people, they're not aware, because for them these voices are not just imagination, it's really real. So again, most of the time they may not be in their right faculties to reach out for help. So most often it's a concerned family member or a friend that sort of realizes that something is wrong. So it's okay to talk to yourself when
yeah,
you're feeling bored, or to your plants if you're feeling bored. I think I saw a video or something that if you keep talking to your plants and say nice things to it, it grows better. So yeah, why not?
right. All right, move back to the question that I think we passed to Nabila. I have 4 kids at home and work as is stressful. I cannot find time for myself because even on weekend I'm busy. How to calm down when I get too stressed? Seriously, this is no joke. Working from home is more stressful. But yeah, Nabila, maybe you can add more there about this
All
working.
right. Okay. So yeah, I think for working from home, particularly for working parents, it's a lot more difficult compared to us without kids or single. Um, all right. So I would suggest you first and foremost, you have to discuss with your spouse. Um, I mean, you have to divide the job between you two. You have to delegate some of the tasks to your husband. Um, yeah, I just assume you're a wife. I'm sorry. So yeah, I think what you need to do is try to delegate some of the tasks to your partner, to your spouse. And then also, you know how to calm down, right? Like Dr. Anita, sorry. So first of all, try to do the journaling. Try to note down all of your frustrations. This is because, I mean, especially if you are a parent, right? You have to you don't want to spread all of these negative emotions to your kids. You want to be the best parents to your kids. So how to do that? So if you have all of these negative emotions that you think would hinder you from being a good parent, note down all of these frustrations, and then from there you can start being objective about it. Okay, how to deal with these particular emotions. So yeah, that's my that's two methods basically. Discuss with your spouse and note down all your frustrations in order for you to know how to overcome it.
All right, I think that's really good answer. Discuss and discuss talk each other. I think this everyone's stressed currently. I think one more questions about the. I think Dr. Anita can answer this.
I saw an interesting question earlier, Nazrul, that I thought I could also help with. Someone said something like they see a lot of people contributing a lot of things like PPE and whatever, and they don't feel like they're contributing in contrast. And how can they cope with that? I think that a lot of people have mixed messages out there. Some people say that, oh, you have to be very productive during this quarantine. You're at home, but you have to do all these things. So if you're not working, you need to make these PPs, or you need to I don't know, donate things or organize donation drives and everything. Look, all you guys who are watching this video or this live streaming at home, you're already doing the greatest thing that you could ever do, which is staying at home. And that in itself is a very, very important thing. It might seem very, trivial, but to me, and I think to everybody, all my colleagues, they would agree. And you don't need to be doing something actively. Look, the quarantine for some people may prove to be an amazing period where you get, I don't know, journal
I
articles.
think I think this question, right?
Yeah.
This question, right? We so much
Yeah.
thing other people
Yes.
do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the important thing that we all need to realize is that we don't all need to be seemingly productive. And if, again, your trigger is because when you see on social media, people are doing fund donations and food donations and all of that, limit those social media pages, or, unfollow temporarily, or whatever it is that you need to do, because it's obviously not helping. And being useful, I think, is very different for different people. For me, sometimes being useful on my worst day could be the very fact that I just get up, get a shower, and just go to my calm place. If that is a very, very difficult day, that could be being useful, in contrast to maybe not being able to hold my temper with my kids or something like that. So you don't always need to be useful, if that makes sense.
That's powerful.
Hmm. Thank you.
All right. I think another questions that I think to you also.
Is it the how to remain calm and not to be depressed? Is that the one?
This one.
Oh, this one. Okay. I can be extremely happy and suddenly be extremely sad. Sometimes I'm too active in my work and suddenly I don't even know how to do my daily tasks. Now, to whoever asked this question, I need to also ask a few, questions to understand this. Is this just happening during the MCO period? Like Dr. Nabila said, Dr. Nazrul said, and even Dr. Sujata touched on it, this is a very strange time. So if during this time only, you find yourself swinging between emotions. It could be a kind of normal. I think we are all in the mental health profession recognizing that there are different responses, emotional responses for different individuals. But my concern here is that if this was present even before the MCO and now it's becoming worse, and you're concerned because of that, you really need to reach out to a mental health professional soon, so that that person can assess you, to make sure that it is not something that we need to be worried about in terms of mental health. Is that okay, Nazrul, or do you want more details? Anything specific?
I think I think we stop there. Another question: how to cope with the obsessive thoughts?
Okay, I think I would go with Dr. Nabila's, suggestion earlier, and Dr. Sujata's sort of skill. So, obsessive thoughts are really thoughts that run along in our head. The problem is, it starts to become obsessive, especially when we try to resist it and go against it, and then it keeps popping up without us wanting it to be there. So, sometimes journaling is very powerful. It sounds like very sort of back to school or whatever, but as I've grown older, I've realized that I really need to sometimes use the good old pen and paper and write it down. I mean, you can also take and then sometimes you've paid attention to the thoughts, you've given it its place, or you've figured out from writing down that this is what you need to do to address those thoughts. And then you would find that the thoughts get not so obsessive any longer. Going with Dr. Sujata's skill would be, sometimes we need to calm down first before we address any of these things. And going to your happy place, relaxing your muscles, taking good deep breaths can clear your mind fog or brain fog before you deal with those issues.
I think Dr. Sujata, you can touch about people that you have touched before, something about be grateful, maybe to the
Okay.
audience.
All right. Okay, I'd just like to share something with you. I think we tend to forget whatever we have already. Like we need to appreciate and be grateful to what we already have. Something like, like just very simple things like thank you for breathing easily and freely. We just take it for granted about our breathing. Sometimes people who has asthma, even when a little bit, they suffer, and that time like thank you for the breathing to come easily and freely. It makes a lot of difference. And then thank you for the food on the table every day. They're sure there's to have food on the table. And thank you for the roof over my head. Start with something small, and then you can always thank for something you want. For the example, I always tell all my patients and to all my colleagues, I thank you everything. Thank you for my father to be well, my mom to be well. And then I enter the hospital and I'll say thank you for the parking. And I'll always get my park. So,
In
so
HKL,
yes.
in HKL.
Yes. So I think when you just thank for everything that you already have, when you want something, it just happens. You're just creating this kind of a atmosphere or energy, or you're attracting the universe for what you want. Sometimes they always say, don't ask for wish, and your wish might just come true, right? So this is how you attract the universe. So when you want to wish for something, think properly what you really want. Sometimes when you ask someone what you really want, actually when you really think about it, wow, what actually I really want, there's so many things running in your head actually. So there's another thing, where other than gratitude, you need to say sorry. You need to forgive and forget. Some people, I have young adults around me, they will tell me, when it is not my mistake, why should I say sorry? It's that ego in them. The moment they realize that ego, they should just let it go for a bit and forgive and forget. Whatever the mistake they have done, life will be so much more better. So yeah, that's all for the sharing for now.
I think we
Anything
come
you
back
want me to add?
about the forgive and forget. It means currently that abusive family, abusive partner, I think is increasing right now. So how you want to forgive and they are living in that situation. I mean, how it's really challenging. That I think last Monday that one question during webinar that people say that how I want to live with my toxic family back home. So how is that, doctor?
I guess actually it depends on, I mean, I'm sure if someone is very abusive, it's very, very difficult to just stand there and say, no, I forgive you and I forget and things like that. I guess if the person is abusive or trying to hurt you, I think you just should leave that place for that moment or try to seek help or get help. Dr. Anita, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think with what we've been hearing recently, right? And I think even in China, they noticed that during the MCO, or I think they had some sort of a lockdown in Wuhan, there was a huge increase in domestic violence, in child abuse, as well as after the lockdown. Great rates of divorce. Okay. What we were talking about during our preparation with the panel, and this is what I would maintain in terms of if you're being abused or if you know that someone is being abused, you need to reach out. The Women's Aid Organization has a 24-hour, I believe, dedicated hotline for this. You must reach out because it can turn very dangerous. And I don't believe that the MCO has caused this domestic violence. I think what the MCO has done is that it's put everyone in a situation where everyone has to face each other. So there have been already seeds or flags of violence even before. But during the MCO, this is it brews up and then it just explodes. And it is an urgent situation. I agree with Dr. Nazrul. And I don't think that's what Dr. Sujata meant in terms of forgive and forget. I think she meant more in a context of, if let's say before the MCO, everything is okay with the family, you have occasional fights with your spouse, and then during the MCO, tempers flare and rise. It's a lot more useful rather than being annoyed about it the whole day to have the gratitude and the forgiveness. But if you're actually dealing with an abusive spouse, you could be in real danger. Either you're male or female, it doesn't matter. And your kids could also be, at risk for abuse. And you do not want to forgive and forget in this situation. You need to reach out for help. And there are various ways to deal with this. I'm just going to give an example. I follow the social media account of Daphne Iking. She's actually put herself out there. She's an advocate against domestic violence and violence towards women. So she actually said that if you direct message her with you want to buy cake or something like that, then she would reply something. And then if you actually send your address, like as if you're buying, online delivery, you need to give your address. She would actually pass that information on to the proper authorities to get the help to you. So you need to definitely be aware of your own situation. And if you know your family member or your friend is in such a situation, you should reach out to the authorities to get the help. So that is a very serious situation. Yeah. Nazrul or
Those who are streaming in YouTube, you can also ask question in slido.com. The code event is mental health COVID-19. We have one more question from that Slido. I think to Dr. Anita, I guess, what to do when you try journaling. I think anyone can answer this.
Like what I said earlier, Nazrul, and what I want to impress upon people with us tonight is that although increase of distressing emotions is normal within this period, but if you find that this is prolonged or persistent or throughout the whole day, so like in this question, you can't pull yourself out. So you've tried journaling and you can't pull yourself out. You've tried dancing, you can't pull yourself out. You can't get out of this rut. You need to reach out for an assessment, because it could be, you see, a lot of us may not realize it, that but before the MCO we could already be dealing with mental health issues, that we have used maybe other methods of coping, like maybe working to distract ourselves from our own mental health issues. Now that we are at home, we are now forced to face ourselves, and it gets a bit too much, and that's okay. But you need, the way to pull yourself out is with the help of a professional. That's my opinion on that.
So professional, is it available during this MCO in
So,
hospital?
so I think there are a lot of hotlines that have offered, mental health sort of online assessments. That's one. Number two, for example, like I'm just going to tell you the ones that I'm involved with. There are a lot more. Malaysian Medical Association, they've actually released a press release asking people to go to their Facebook page, and if they need help, they can actually post a message, and there will be a panel of people in the team that will get back to them. That's one. The other one that I'm involved with is through the university, and they have also put an advert on the paper, and you can call in to certain numbers at certain times, and then you can reach out for help. Now, what if the situation is dire? Maybe you are in a state that you need immediate help. Hospitals are open 24 hours. There are psychiatric services in all major government hospitals. You can always go to any hospital any time of the day if it is urgent. If it is not urgent, you would still need to get a referral letter from a clinic kesihatan, which is also open, and then they will give you a referral letter to make an appointment. So what we do is we triage, and if you need immediate help, you will be sort of seen very early or immediately, depending on the situation.
Who can we talk to if we think we need help with managing stress or anxiety?
So I think amongst the participants here today, maybe would it be possible for them to get in touch with us, like through, your email, and then we need to address it individually, I think, because the thing with mental health is there's always a danger between taking it too seriously, but I don't worry about that so much, or taking it too lightly when it's actually serious. That I worry a lot about. So there is, I wish there was another way, but it would require someone to actually assess the person. So
Anything from Dr. Su and Dr. Nabila?
I would like to add, actually, last time when I checked, right, I just scroll down in my Instagram, I can see a couple of private bodies. They offer free emotional support. If I'm not mistaken, I think Miasa or MMHA, I completely forgot, but I will share with Nazro later. Maybe you could share it with all of our participants. And also, if you realize
Mhm.
Majlis Keselamatan Negara, I think all of these free texts that you will get on daily basis. So they also have Talian counseling or Talian
that's it.
psychosocial, if I'm not mistaken. So One of them, they operate for 24 hours, and the other one, Befrienders KL. I think, just in case if you feel like talking to people about, to vent about your negative thoughts, there are some hotlines for it if it's not too serious. Yeah, I will share with Nazrul later on. Maybe you could share with all of them.
Dr. Su, anything?
Um, Regarding my relaxation just now, at times some of you would have gone to a place probably not so much of a favorite place. So if you do feel disturbed or anything, you can always contact and have another session. So if you need to, but if everything is okay, then that's fine. Just to let you know, sometimes you probably have dreams. Some may be good ones, some may not be so good. So I just don't want you to take that into thinking that something is bad. But you can always go into another relaxation to actually help you better. So that is something I wanted to share.
Maybe we can open to the Zoom participant if you want to ask question live here.
All
Anyone?
right. Just wanted to know how was the relaxation? Definitely, how did
Yeah,
Dior respond well to that? Yeah.
yeah.
That was really good for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was really good.
Oh, okay.
It
Thank you.
Yeah, it feels like, also, that there is one apps, actually, I use that a lot during my PhD. It's called Headspace. It's a guided meditation. So yeah, I mean, but it was really simple because it's just an apps. But with you, it's more elaborative, which is really good.
Thank
Yeah, a
you.
lot better. So yeah, I think, just in case if all of our participants need that kind of guided, I don't know how to, guided calming session, you guys can also try Headspace. It's a free app actually. I will put it in the chat section. Headspace.
I just want to add more about being grateful. I remember one of my professor back in the US. He said that uh, if we can find one antidote for depression, we put together all the medicine in the world. Grateful is the best thing that we can cure the depression. So maybe what Dr. Su said, that psychosocial really can take part of healing uh, currently state of people who having depression now, or anxiety, or maybe mental illness. So maybe we can apply to our daily life, and being grateful is really make you being more peace and clarity, and you are so different, and you start your life with being so grateful. So I want to open more question if anyone want to, because we live on YouTube, so maybe I want to ask participant in the Zoom, maybe they can say something. We have only 10 minutes left. Anyone? You can unmute your
Another
mic.
thing about the relaxation that I want to share, there's actually another, you can just go to the YouTube and you can type in self hypnosis. So there is for relaxation, there is for deep sleep, there's actually for many things, even weight loss, hair fall, even you have that self hypnosis. So you can actually try whatever you want. It really works, believe me. In the beginning, it was like you want to listen to every word they say because you're very curious. After that, they also tell you that if your mind, your conscious mind is very critical and you analyze everything, it's very difficult for you to go into relaxation or anybody to hypnotize you. So what this is the method of Milton Erickson, where you count 100 backwards. So when you count 100, 99, 98, you sure you can go into deep relaxation. So that is another hint of how you go to. But one very famous, I mean, not famous, that we are very, actually Dr. Anita and I are very inclined and we really like his voice, is someone named Michael Seeley, as in Sealey, Michael Seeley. So if you want, you can actually check out his YouTube. Yeah, thank
Is
you.
online meditation or mind awareness popular these days?
Sorry?
That's a question from the chat room. Is online meditation or mind awareness popular these days?
Popular, I'm not so sure. I mean, I guess it depends on who wants what, you see. So I'm sure because the YouTube that we access, many people do actually access them, you know. So I'm sure it must be popular.
I think I agree with Sujata. I feel personally, I'm very critical minded. So, I never believed that I could be easily hypnotized. And I wasn't initially, right, Sujata? But I think it's
Yes.
got to do a lot with your own self belief and your sense of trust. So but now that I'm sort of aware and I've sort of experienced the benefits it has in my life, then it speaks to me more. But I think there's a word of caution about hypnosis. Maybe Nazrul, it probably isn't for everybody. There are certain people with certain issues who may not benefit from hypnosis. It's not a cure all. I think it works well for those with anxiety and those who sort of feel emotional sometimes. Like something someone says to them, they get down and they need something to quickly come back to their best sense of self. Then this sort of self hypnosis does work really well, and it does really work well for those who can't sleep, because this guided sort of muscle relaxation can really help you relax and have a really good sleep once you know how to follow it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. There's one more question. How to cope with changing eating habit during RMO?
Okay, I want to take this question because this has affected me definitely. Um, Snacking a lot because there's nothing else to do, right? So you become like a rat in the house. So I've learned this rule for myself even before the MCO. When I shop, most shopping malls, the first part is usually your fresh produce, right? Your vegetables, your fruits. I make sure that almost half of my cart, I have a family of 5 with me, so it's full of vegetables and fruits. And when I leave the shopping mall, I make sure that only maybe less than 25% is anything from other places. Now, again, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're not a person who cooks everything from scratch, you're going to create another stressor for yourself. But let's say if I have more grapes and more apples and those easy to eat fruits, I would go for that rather than if I had a few bags of chips, let's say in my cart, and then I keep it at home. I might go for that. So it starts with what Dr. Nazrul mentioned about eating good, nutritious food. But it starts from the initial part of us buying things. And I think there's been a lot of talk about, a lot of advertisement, and then we buy things that are advertised. Now, don't be so hard on yourself. But if you can, most of the time, go for the fresh produce. um, you know and then if on the times that you can't and you need something quick, Don't beat yourself up if you have to go for the tin food and stuff like that. Mix it up. Then you might not eat so unhealthily. And going for workout, okay, this is what I've been doing with my kids at home. There is a YouTube channel called Shine Dance Fitness. I don't know if anyone else follows them. What I just recently found this during NCO, and yeah, actually like something like a Zumba kind of workout group. It's free on YouTube. It is super fun. I do it with my kids. My son, he would jump up and down the sofa. That's his dancing style. But I don't really have the chance to work out. I used to go to the gym when all of this was normal.
Me
But
too.
yeah, so I do that. I find that works for me. So do what works for you, and be this MCO is not going to be forever. It's going to be for the next few weeks or so, maybe longer, but it's not forever. It might require us to change some parts of our life. Even when the MCO is lifted, we still have to maintain good hygiene practices and everything. But whatever happens between this time, you can always get back to things that you used to do. Like, for example, when women are pregnant, some women, because of medical reasons, they have to have bed rest for long periods of time, and they may gain a lot of unhealthy weight and so forth. But after their pregnancy and when they're ready, all in good time, you can get back to it. You just need some motivation to get back on the wagon, so to speak. Okay, now I'm going to shut up for a while, let everyone else answer.
I think Dr. Nabila want to add more about the workout.
Oh, what do you mean? Okay, so about the workout, I don't really like to work out that much previously. Just because I would normally be tired from all of the travelings. Because I live in KL and my work is in Tanjung Malim though, so that's quite far for me. But since the MCO, right, because I know I need to move my body, I just go to YouTube. There's a lot of options for you, and you also have to understand, you have to take care of your immune system. And by doing exercise, you will get all of these mood boosters, hormone, endorphin, dopamine. So there's a lot of benefits to it. um yeah, you just need to adapt. Previously you used to go to the gym. Right now you just have to adapt to the new situations. Exercise in front of your TV. That's
Yeah,
not so bad.
me too. I picked up body combat doing during the MCO. I learned from the YouTube. It works me like I burn like 500 calories a day. So I will like,
That's quite a lot.
yep.
And I also feel like if you, let's say, for example, some of you here scared to try yoga or scared to try Zumba, this is the time. It's free. Do it in front of your TV.
So any last question from anyone in the Zoom chat room? Or maybe Dr. Sue, you want to add something?
Um, well,
How about you workout? You
no,
maybe
I
have some
dance.
secret.
I
You
dance.
dance. All right.
I love dancing. Someone was telling me, to my cousin, she's not feeling well and all that. Oh, just take her dancing and she'll be fine. So everybody in my family knows that about me. So I love dancing. I think that's when you just let yourself go. You just not bothered about who's watching you and what's they're thinking about you. You just don't care. So you just let go, let loose, and just enjoy the rhythm. So actually, in a way, probably dancing, it follows your breathing, your rhythm. It's kind of synchronized with your movement. I think that's one way why you just totally relax during that time. Probably I go into hypnosis during dancing more. So I guess that is why. So if you're feeling low, tired, just put a mirror in front of you or your own video, take a picture and then watch yourself dancing. You probably just enjoy it. Who knows?
There's a question from the chat room. I think to Dr. Nabila, I'm working from home at the same time. I have 3 kids to handle. Any tips for me to balance work and personal life? Because the place is the same now. Last time work at the office and family at home is hard to handle these two different things at the same time.
Yeah, okay. So like I said just now, first of all, you have to delegate the task to your spouse or whoever that you could think of that you know that you could help you out. If your spouse is working, maybe I don't know, if you have relatives living with you, maybe ask for their help. Other than that, you really have to balance between work and also your kids at home. Like I said just now, you cannot just take a back-to-back meeting. You have to know what you value. You have to know what are the things that you should prioritize. So okay, not all meetings, so I mean I can bet not all meetings that you have to attend on that particular day are important. So there are some of that. And at the same time, if you think that okay, this meeting I don't need to be present, maybe discuss with your boss. you know I believe your boss would be more understanding about your situations. And surprisingly, some people, due to this COVID-19 quarantine, they become more close with their boss, because I don't know, maybe their boss also like start to open up about the personal stuff happening at home. So that would also encourage the staff to be more open about what's going on about their home. I think you should be transparent with your boss as well. Try to say that okay, I have to, I'm alone at home with 3 kids. So yeah. Did I answer the question?
Yep. Yeah, we have 1 minute. Can we wrap up this webinar? Anything left? Anyone to say summary, Dr. Anita?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I would like to add one more point just now. Okay, so if you have kids and you're alone, it is actually really good for you to make a timetable for your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's another thing. All right.
All right, we round table. Dr. Anita, anything want to summarize this conversation?
Actually, I mean, if anyone is interested, I'll send Nazrul later. Actually, wrote an article about a week ago with this very same thing, because I had a lot of parents coming to me and saying that it's really hard. They feel like they're failing because there are Instagram parents who are successfully baking, cooking, and homeschooling their children and all of that, and taking the videos to prove that and posting it on Instagram. While for some people that's inspiring, for some people it just feels like they are a failure or they pale in comparison. So my article was very much about just not comparing yourself and doing things your own way. So for this mom, whoever you are, just accept the fact that now the situation is different. You have to work and be at home at the same time. And so, like me, thankfully, I've got my mom and my husband out behind this closed door. This door is locked so that my son won't come in and sort of get curious with what is happening. So it's not easy, but let's say he was banging on the door and that happened for another meeting. I actually just stopped the video and muted my microphone and handled him. And then he was on video for a while and then he got bored and he left. So there's no perfect way. And I think that's how I want to end this off. I think we just all need to acknowledge that this is difficult in our own way. And for some people, maybe they have, better days than most, and that's fine. So focus on ourselves. Take this time to just focus on ourselves and stop comparing ourselves to other people. Do what you can within your means. Just be able to recognize whether or not all of this is overwhelming and you need help. And if you do, reach out. Don't hesitate. Thank
I
you.
I always inspire Dr. Anita. I mean, as a specialist in the hospital of Kuala Lumpur, and as a mother, as a daughter, and only one child, I mean, is you are so inspiring a lot of women out there, and you are truly hero for this during pandemic COVID-19. You are doing this. I supposedly you are having quality time with your family. I really appreciate what you are doing tonight, and only God can bless can reward whatever that effort that you are doing now. All right,
My
I think
pleasure. So,
Dr. Sue.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Anita as well.
oh,
So, yeah. So, so anyway, it was a great opportunity, and I'm glad that I've made a difference in some of the participants. I read in the Zoom group chat. I'll be actually really happy and glad that if they actually need another session, I don't mind. I'll be more than willing to do another session if anybody is actually interested.
Yeah, don't hesitate to join us because people really need your experience and your methods this during this time, Dr. Sue. I'm really
Yeah,
appreciate
sure.
your effort, your time, and you also truly hero. You as a specialist in hospital Kuala Lumpur, the most
Oh, thank you.
busiest hospital in Malaysia currently, and you are spending your time with we have we this is our first time doing webinar, and we are streaming live on YouTube. Maybe in the future people will watch this, and maybe uh, we try to do some added value in the future. There's hiccup here and there, but we try to improve our medium to benefit of our society and the whole entire world. All right, Dr. Nabila. Thank you,
Oh
Dr.
yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So I would just like to wrap up on my part. Difficult for everybody, even for a single individual. So first of all, you have to realize that this is new. So don't be too hard on yourself. You know, there will be days that you'll be productive. There will be days as well that you just want to let yourself go. So I mean, no need to be too harsh on yourself. Yep. So that's all from me.
All right. Thank you, Nabila. Nabila, please, when you are going to migrate, don't leave us. We are still going to be here together, and together we are stronger, inshallah. And thank you, Nabila, Dr. Sue, and Dr. Anita. Dr. Anita also leaving our country after this MCO. She's leaving to Canada for her sub specialist, and we are connecting through Zoom. Because beautiful brain and smart brain people like you guys have to keep to have benefit to our nation. And thank you all of you, and thank you for the informative and interesting sharing. And ladies and gentlemen, now we are come to the end of our webinars, and I hope that we have get beneficial for everybody tonight. And please subscribe our YouTubes, and we will do more inshallah in the future. And thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you, guys.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good night.
Good night.